Good morning. Hello, how are you? If we've not met before, my name's Abby Watson. I'm the founder of Love Your Birth. I'm the host of this group, and I'm here today to talk about what to even post on social media as a hypnobirthing business. Now, this is for you, even if you haven't yet trained to be a hypnobirthing teacher. And it's also for you if you're a seasoned pro too, because I know that quite often, even when we've been doing this a while, it's really good to go back to that simplicity and those key essentials that are so important for success. Now, whilst the algorithm does its thing, I'm going to tell you about something really special that I've got coming up that is absolutely free and is ideal for you if you are pondering becoming a hypnobirthing teacher. From the 18th of June, for 3 days, I'm running a free training for an hour a day where you will learn whether teaching hypnobirthing is for you. Over 3 days, you will learn about what actually hypnobirthing is, why it's important, who it's for. On day 2, we will learn what it takes to become a really successful and effective hypnobirthing teacher. And then finally, day 3 will be about how to run a successful business, actually getting clients and making money. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, I will pop the link to sign up to save your spot in the comments. Okay, it's going to be such a fun and inspiring 3 days, and like I said, completely free. So let's crack on with what we're talking about today. So today is all about what to post on social media as a hypnobirthing business. Okay, now I want you to leave today with really simple and successful ways of creating content. Even if you are not a technical whiz, perhaps you're not even somebody that massively uses social media except for scrolling. So you're certainly not a seasoned content creator. Now this live is certainly for you. Okay, I'm really going to strip this back to the essentials that don't blooming take a lot of tech, because actually sometimes we can overcomplicate it by getting so obsessed with apps to create content and making them all fancy and loads of graphics and all that. So we're going to be really stripping this back. Okay, now, a couple of weeks ago, I was chatting to someone in this group who is going to train as a hypnobirthing teacher, but right now is not the right time. Okay, so she's not doing it right now, but she knows she is definitely going to do this. Now, do you know what my advice for her was? Even though she hasn't started her business, even though she hasn't actually commenced any training, I said, get going with creating content on social media for your future hypnobirthing business. It is never too early, and there are so many benefits of building that community really early on. Okay, now I was not that person. I was the person that waited for all my ducks to be in a row, and you know that never happens, to start promoting my business. So I'd done my training and I waited like a good few months to actually start publicly talking about it. And I don't want you to do that. I know that you will be much more successful quicker if you get talking about what you're going to be doing as early as possible. Okay. Now that doesn't mean you have to. I know some people really want to kind of do their training and deal with the business side later, but there are so many benefits of doing it sooner. Okay. So I I would love to know in the comments where you are on your journey with this, because this is going to really help me tailor what I'm talking about today to you. Okay, so are you you're an aspiring hypnobirthing teacher, so you've not even done any training, but you're thinking about taking the plunge? Drop that in the comments if you're an A. Or are you a B? You've started your training, you're not yet certified, but you know, you've taken the big step to start your training. Or are you C? You have done your training and you are like in your early days of building your hypnobirthing business. So your business is very new. You're a C if that's you. Or are you a D? You are an established hypnobirthing teacher. Okay, so you've been doing this a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe even more. Drop in the comments where you are with this. Sarah's here. Oh, lovely to see you this morning, Sarah. And Sarah, of course, is a B, so she's currently doing her training. Now, this today, Sarah, will be super useful to you. And Tasha's also saying that she's a C, so she's a new hypnobirthing teacher. Again, you're going to find this really, really useful. And do you know what? I'd go as far as saying grab a pen and a piece of paper, because I really want you to take action on the back of this free training this morning. Okay, so where you are with this, okay, really doesn't matter, because you're definitely going to find lots of value from this free training. So like I said, when I spoke to somebody thinking of becoming a hypnobirthing teacher, I said, start talking about it as soon as you possibly can. Now, why social media? Why would we bother with social media? Now, I know there's lots of businesses that thrive without social media. Of course there is, okay? And there's some businesses that thrive just on social media. They don't have anything else, you know? Now, I think a middle approach is far more sustainable, you know? You have your hypnobirthing business on social media, but you also use other ways of attracting clients. Now, when you're starting a hypnobirthing business, starting with social media can be a great way in. And I tell you why. It's free. It's only taking your time. Now, we know time's valuable, but perhaps when we're starting out, we are wanting to keep our investment smaller. So starting on social media can be a great way in, okay? On social media, you have the ability to get in front of people that are not even looking for your services, but they're the types of people that might need them, i.e., they're expecting a baby, or even they're planning to have a baby at some point, okay? That is the benefit of social media, okay? It's a little bit like the Aldi middle aisle, you know? You kind of like go shopping for some other things and you end up noticing loads of amazing things in the middle aisle and you've ended up buying them. Social media is a bit like that, right? You know, you see things that you weren't even looking for and suddenly you're interested, okay? That is the benefit of social media, okay? So as a business, it can absolutely be so powerful to have a presence on there. Now, for me personally, I am not one of those businesses that spends their whole time on social media. I am not. I would not be able to. My mental health would not deal with it. So I am somebody that is boundaried around my time that I spend on social media. But I know it's really powerful use of my time. Here I am today, you know, speaking to you via the power of social media, okay? It's pretty incredible, okay? So what I'm saying is you can use social media without having to spend your whole life on it. And that is a much healthier way of doing it, okay? So where do you blimmin' start? Okay, so perhaps if you are new to this, you simply start an Instagram and a Facebook page. Now, we all know that there are many other forms of social media out there. The key with this is thinking, where are my potential clients likely to be? Okay. Now, as much as people say Facebook is dead, like just Google what percentage of adults are on Facebook and you will see that it is not dead. And the vast majority of those people are using Facebook every single day. Okay. So it definitely makes sense having a presence on Facebook. Okay. I have often found that the demographic of people that I attract are also on Instagram too. Okay. So it can be useful to be on both. And guess what? The great thing is you can actually attach the two together, you know, so that what you're posting on Instagram goes across to Facebook. Now, of course, there are people that will say it's better to do it separately. And you know what? It probably is. But if you're time poor, it's better than not doing it. You know, it's better than just focusing on one. You know, having them attached, it's no extra work. Okay. So definitely think about what accounts you're going to have. Now, I know what we're talking about today is what do you even post? Okay. Now, you might look on social media and you might look at lots of other hypnobirthing accounts, which I would not advise that you do because it is going to overwhelm you. It's going to bring a sense of comparison. You're going to be comparing yourself to other people that have been doing this years, which is good for no one. So don't do it, okay? But I bet some of you have already been doing it. And I bet some of the things that you see is lots of posts giving tips and information, okay, right? And those posts are useful, but I tell you what's even more powerful than that kind of tippy post. Actually showing you, sharing bits of your story, sharing behind the scenes, and what's more, it is super easy. And you don't have to second guess your knowledge on this because you know yourself. You know, you don't have to be like Googling to check that what you're saying is accurate. You can be sharing elements of your life behind the scenes, okay? Stories about why you do what you do easily, okay, and quickly. And I tell you what, it's that kind of content that is so much more likely to actually get the clients, okay? Think about from your own perspective, when you are buying services, okay, no doubt you want to have a bit of a nosy at that person. No doubt you go to the people that you feel you connect with. And how do you know that you connect with them? Because they've allowed you to get to know them a little bit. Okay. So what does this mean in actual practice then? Okay. Well, really simply, if you are new to this, and even if you are established, okay, a good reminder is people will want to hear why you are doing this. Why do you love hypnobirthing? Why have you chosen to be a hypnobirthing teacher? What is it that makes you so passionate about it? Okay. And a simple post is a post that has a picture of you, and yes, it can be a selfie. I wouldn't suggest, you know, using a filter with little bunny ears or anything like that. A simple selfie, okay, or get someone to take a photo, or maybe you've even got a photo already of yourself. You post a photo and you introduce yourself. You say, my name's Abby, okay, whatever your name is. And you say, I am so passionate about hypnobirthing because, and this is why I am currently training, or this is why I'm on my journey to become a hypnobirthing teacher. Okay? As simple as that. And you know, the reason that you're doing it might be really different from the reason that I'm doing it. And that's what is special. Okay? So that's one simple post that anybody can do. And whatever point you are at in your journey, that is going to be interesting to others. Okay. In terms of other things that you can share, well, how about relatable stories? Okay. If you think of your social media as like this community for expectant mums to be, and maybe even very new mums, okay, if you think of it as like a community for them, what are they going to be interested in? Well, they're going to be interested in things that they can relate to, okay? So if you have got any feelings that you've previously had that you are comfortable sharing, that you know some people might relate to, that is going to be incredible content. So for example, something that I've frequently shared on my social media, especially in my days of teaching hypnobirthing, was how when I was pregnant, I spent time Googling at 12 o'clock, how painful is birth going to be? I knew that my potential clients would absolutely relate to that because they too were scared of the pain of childbirth. Okay. You might have a story about how you felt like you worked so much in pregnancy and felt that you didn't have that much time to, bond with your bump. And that's one of the reasons that you are so passionate about hypnobirthing, because you know it gives people that opportunity to take time to connect with their unborn baby. So thinking about, and grab a pen and paper if you haven't already done this, think about 5 relatable things that you can share that your potential clients might resonate with, might relate to. So that might be feelings that you've had in pregnancy, if you've had a baby before. Now, if you haven't had a baby before, it can be other things. So what is it that has drawn you to this? Maybe it's because you are really passionate about the mind-body connection. And maybe you've got a story from your own life that showed you just how powerful that relationship is. Or maybe you've got a story from your own life of the time that you first heard about hypnobirthing, what your initial thoughts were, and how you went from this skeptic to be like, oh, this sounds pretty good, So really think of some simple and short things in your own life that people can relate to. And like I said, all you need is a photo of you and to write the words. As simple as that. And if you're posting this on a business profile on social media, my goodness, make sure you also share it on your personal profile too. Because you know what? Your friends and family will also relate to some of the things that you are talking about. And they are going to be your biggest cheerleaders. So when they can understand more about the why behind what you're doing and, your feelings around this whole topic, oh my gosh, they are going to be your biggest cheerleaders. And that's what you want. Okay, so definitely make sure that you are sharing this across to your personal profile too. Okay, so to sum up, definitely talk about why you're doing this. Okay, experiences in your own life that show just how important birth preparation in this way share stories of feelings. You may feel comfortable sharing some of the fears that you've previously had, that that other women in that stage of life will also relate to. Okay. Now I want to give you an example of how this pans out in my own life and my own social media use. Okay. When I am scrolling on social media, okay, rarely look at the top tips for XYZ. You know, the things that I look at, the things that really like capture my attention, and please let me know if you are the same, okay, are the things that feel like, oh my gosh, that person is feeling what I'm feeling, you know? That person's experienced what I'm experiencing. That's the content that stops me in my scroll. That's the content that I am still thinking about 2 hours later, you know? And for me, right now in my life, the kind of content that stops me in my tracks are things around like parents that are talking about their own children's diagnoses with autism, because that's what I'm going through, okay? Now, take me back, 12 years ago when I was pregnant with my first baby, it was different content, okay? And this is how you get an audience that is right, by really specifically talking to that audience, you know? So 12 years ago, I was the person that was reading the posts that were about fear of birth, or, that were about feeling disconnected to your bump, worrying about what type of mum you would be. I was also the person that would read the posts that were talking about preparing nurseries and plans for maternity leave. Yeah? So can you see, if you are sharing these nuggets from your own life, where you're thinking about experiences that might be similar to what your potential clients are going through, that is going to be magnetic, okay? Now you might be thinking, but oh my gosh, I just don't know, like, what I'm going to say at the end of the post, because I haven't started my hypnobirthing business. That's okay. You can end your post with, follow my page for more relatable content like this. Or maybe you can hint at what's coming. I'm soon going to be offering hypnobirthing courses, so keep your eyes peeled. Or something exciting coming soon. You don't necessarily have to have services to sell, services to book. Before you start doing these things, start now, okay? So definitely that relatable content, so important, okay? Next, what other things could you post about? Behind the scenes. People are blooming nosy. I'm nosy. I'm sure you are. Like, people do want to see behind the scenes of other people's lives, okay? So if you are in the process of training to be a hypnobirthing teacher or getting your hypnobirthing business going, I am sure there are tons of behind the scenes stuff that your audience that you're building would love to see. Maybe you're reading a book. Maybe you're reading a pregnancy and birth book. Share that. Take a photo of the book. Share a little quote that really stood out to you and say why. Maybe as you're doing your training, you've learned something and you're like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Talk about the thing that you've just learned. Because if you think that, your potential clients will also think that too. So share this behind the scenes stuff, okay? People love it, and it really helps them to feel that they get to know you, okay? And you can also share behind the scenes stuff of other things in your life. Ultimately, people buy from people, So if they feel like they know you a bit and you're a bit like them, they'll feel that, I feel like I know her, I trust her, I'm so much more likely to book a service with her rather than anybody else, okay? So yeah, that can be a photo of your lovely coffee that you are drinking in your local cafe. Tag the cafe in and put a little caption, okay? Absolutely, behind the scenes stuff doesn't always have to be hypnobirthing related. Okay, it can be life related too. If you can link it to birth prep, amazing, but it doesn't have to be. People are nosy. And on this note about behind the scenes stuff, like, get the people who are following your account that maybe at the start are friends and family. That's fine. Get them involved in the building of your business. Well, how might you do that? Seek their opinion. Yeah? So maybe you've started a hypnobirthing account and maybe you're designing a logo. Maybe you've got 4 potential ones. Maybe you share those and say, I'd love to know your feedback on this. Which should I go for? Or maybe you're thinking about future venues to host things and you actually ask the people that follow you for suggestions of really lovely places or where they'd have loved to go to a hypnobirthing course. When people are involved, they feel part of it. And even if they are not at the life stage of doing a hypnobirthing course, they can still give feedback. They can still share their opinion. And like I said earlier, those people that have felt involved and understood the message and the story behind what you're doing are going to be the people who are talking about you in rooms that you are not in. Okay, so definitely ask for their feedback. Ask for their suggestions. Tell them about hypnobirthing and ask them, did they do it? What did they love about it? If they didn't do it, why was that? As much as it's really useful feedback to you, it's starting the conversation. Remember, social media, okay, is designed to be social, hence the name. So it's not just you posting stuff. It is meant to be like a conversation. It's meant to be community building. So actually asking questions on your social media content, whilst it's super simple and it's going to take you a lot less time, it also, encourages that community chat, And do not worry if when you are starting out, a lot of those people that chat back to you are your friends and family members. That's really normal. And that's totally okay, and never be put off by that, because actually there will be other people lurking about. We just might not know they're there, but they're going to be reading this conversation, and that's going to show that, it's got that people proof, it's got that social proof that other people are liking what you are doing. So it's all good, so never be put off by that. Okay, so finally, you can absolutely post information posts, definitely. You know what though? They can be super simple too, It doesn't have to be 10 tips for avoiding tearing during childbirth. Doesn't have to be that. It can, but it can be much simpler than that. And my gosh, if you are an established hypnobirthing teacher, you need to stop multitasking and stop and listen, because no doubt you have come away from this key content over the years because you feel I've already talked about that. But that might have been ages ago. So key information posts might be things like, what actually is hypnobirthing? People want clarity on that. So having a post that is, what actually is hypnobirthing? Another post that might be super useful and add that clarity behind your account, behind your business, is, who is hypnobirthing for? Simple, It could be, why do an actual course rather than buy a book? Can you see I'm thinking about the types of questions that potential clients might have? They might not ask you these questions, but these are the things that they are thinking about. those types of posts are really key, you know, and they're ones to have frequently, you know. Bring them back, recycle those posts, because they are so valuable for that clarity. Okay. Other posts could be busting a myth about hypnobirthing that you know a lot of people have. So that might be that it's only for certain types of births, or that it's, you know, it's something to do with like mind control, and that, you know, it's all about silent births or something like that. Really think about your potential clients, what might be potentially putting them off, what objections have they got? Again, that's incredible content. Now, of course, you know, if you are needing a photo for content like that, of course you could use an actual photo. Okay, if you wanted to use a graphic, okay, head over to a website or an app. You can use it as a website or an app called canva.com. Okay, now it's a super simple website to use to make simple graphics. And I say simple because the simpler the better. You know, avoid trying to throw loads of text at it. You know, people's attention spans are short on social media. So a catchy title, you know, followed by a bit of information is going to be more powerful than filling, you know, a picture with tons and tons of bullet points. Okay, the simpler the better. Okay, choose a font that is really clear to read, because I know these like swirly ones are super pretty, but they can be really tricky for people to read when they're not 100% focused. So keep it simple, stick to colours where it's easy to read, and ideally stick with the same colours every time you make a piece of content on there, because people are then going to start recognising that the content is from you. Okay, it's going to build your brand. Okay. Now, of course, when you head over to Canva, you are going to be faced with tons of incredible templates. But when you're starting out, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You don't want to be spending hours on there. It's not a good use of your time. Keep it simple. Keep it clean, you know, so it's really easy for people to digest that information. Okay, you can get fancier as you go along, you know. And on that note, that's something to really remember. Like, you are going to evolve as your business develops. And part of this whole thing of getting started on social media, yeah, it's about getting people to hear about your business. But you know what it's also about? It's about you expanding your comfort zones. It's about you feeling more comfortable posting. It's a journey, you know? So starting with something, and maybe when you're starting out, you might post once a week. Wow, you're taking action. And in 3 months, you're going to have a bank of 12 pieces of content on there. Fabulous. Okay. You might do it more than that. But what I'm saying is you can always change as you grow, as you feel more confident. Your confidence will grow by doing it. Okay. And that is the biggest tip that I ever give to new hypnobirthing teachers. You know, start before you feel ready. Start before you feel ready. Because when we feel like, oh, I'm going to wait until all my ducks are in a row, we procrastinate for so long, when actually we could have been getting our wonderful services out there. We could have been getting known even before we're ready to sell a course. Okay. Now, I really, really hope this live has been useful, where